sincere heart is worth all the extraordinary powers in the world. The secret dweller of our innermost heart, the uttermost truth of our being, the soul, has its own divine qualities, the divine secret powers, which we must find in the depth of ourselves and bring them into life. The first essential quality is sincerity, living force of the divine in us. Sincerity gives us inner honesty and transparency. It compels us to live in the presence of light and bliss, embracing our imperfections and enlightening our ignorance, so that our ordinary life can be uplifted to the divine light. Sincerity is the secret power of our soul. In the outer world, we understand sincerity in the context of our relations. But in the inner life, sincerity is the truth. Expressing the divine will through His word, comprehending His innermost meaning, seen in His eyes and felt through His heart. The true sincerity is one with the will of the Supreme. When sincerity is touching our heart, there is a hope of becoming oneself again. And nothing can lead us away from sunlit path when we open to it. But as long as we are insincere, everything is difficult. Sincerity is a straight path to the truth. It is the key to the divine life.
Do not pretend. Be. Do not promise. Act. Do not dream. Realize. There are two types of sincerity. One is human, which comes from the mental ideas, and could be inspired by emotions and feelings, or by the needs of the body. The other is the divine, the sincerity of our secret heart, of our soul. The human sincerity comes from the lower members of consciousness, mental, vital, and physical. The mind imitates the true perception of things and tries to present it as sincerity. The vital also wants to look sincere, hiding its own preferences and desires, passions and cravings, and presents them as sincerity. Even the workings of the senses are trying to convince us in their sincere needs. So what they see, hear, think and feel is in accordance with the truth. All the outer movements of consciousness try to realize truth in their own way. Since the nature is seeking blindly the higher meaning of all its phenomenal realities in the subliminal depths of our life, but cannot do it without a sincere aspiration of innermost self. To be perfectly sincere, it is indispensable not to have any preference, any desire, any attraction, any dislike, any sympathy or antipathy, any attachment, any repulsion. One must have a total, integral vision of things, in which everything is in its place, and one has the same attitude towards all things, the attitude of true vision. This program is obviously very difficult for a human being to realize. Unless he has decided to divinize himself, it seems almost impossible that he could be free from all these contraries within him. And yet, so long as one carries them in himself, one cannot be perfectly sincere. Sincerity is perhaps the most difficult of all things, and perhaps it is also the most effective. If you have perfect sincerity, you are sure of victory. It is infinitely difficult. Sincerity consists in making all the elements of the being, all the movements, whether outer or inner, all the parts of the being, all of them, have one single will to belong to the divine, to live only for the divine, to will only what the divine wills, to express only the divine will, to have no other source of energy than that of the divine. When you are absolutely sincere, you make a constant effort to live in harmony with the highest ideal of your being, the truth of your being. At every moment, in all that you think, all that you feel, and all that you do, you try as perfectly as possible, as completely as possible, to put yourself in harmony with the highest ideal. Or, if you are conscious of it, with the truth of your being. Then you have reached true sincerity. And if you are like that, If truly you do not act from egoistic motives or for personal reasons, if you act guided by your inner truth, that is, if you are perfectly sincere, it is absolutely the same to you whether the whole world judges you in one way or another. In this state of perfect sincerity, you do not need to appear good or to be approved by others. For the first thing you experience when you are in harmony with your true consciousness is that you do not care what you look like. Whether you look like this or like that, whether you seem indifferent, cold, distant, proud, all this is of no importance. Provided, I repeat this, you are absolutely sincere. That is, you never forget that you live in order to realize your inner, central truth. Be perfectly sincere in your consecration to the Divine's work. This will assure you strength and success. Be sincere and absolute in your consecration to the Divine, and your life will become harmonious and beautiful. In sincerity is the certitude of victory. Sincerity, sincerity, how sweet is the purity of thy presence.